Former TikTok star Abulaban was sentenced, and it gets pretty heated in the courtroom. Let's watch.
Can you just make sure to say your first and last name and spell both for the record?
Nothing. So I can't see sometimes.
Ma'am, please
sorry.
state your first and last name and spell both of those names for the record.
Yeah, Hermes Sarton. Your Honor. Or, well,
I'm sorry.
what my mom did to you? What my did to you? My mom did you what? Sorry, Your Honor. What did it do to you? You didn't do anything to you. You know Anna Marie is not gonna go cheat
All right.
if you didn't cheat first.
All right. Ma'am, if you're not going to be able to control yourself,
Sorry, Your Honor.
I'm going to have to
But this-
excuse you. Mr. Abulaban,
this feeling is like-
please.
Make me sick. Your Honor, my name is Hermes Sarton. And I want to share the court the devastating impact that loss of my sister Anna Marie has had on our lives. My sister was a gentle, loving, sweet, young woman whose absence has left a hole in my heart that can never be filled. This man has taken her life and also shattered the hearts and lives of so many loved Anna Marie. Anna Marie was not only my sister, but also one of my best friends. Our childhood was filled with laughter, love, and countless moments of joy. My favorite memories with my sister were of us growing up together. Her beautiful smile and laughter always made us happy. As we grew up, I can remember so many fun times when our family would get together because her presence was, I can remember so fun times when our family would get together because our presence was always so uplifting. She always thought of others first before she would take care of herself. She was always very uplifting to those around her. She had such a gentle spirit, kind, and could easily find joy in the simplest of things. She brought joy and happiness to all those around her. And until now, I still have a hard time knowing my sister is gone. No more calls, birthdays, Christmas, and Mother's Day texts and calls for her. Looking at my sister pictures and video with her is now just a distant memory.
The passion when he committed the crimes that he did. We are asking the court to consider all of the evidence that it heard, both from the prosecution's witnesses as well as the defense witnesses, as well as from Mr. Abulaban, from his family, from his friends, from the people who knew him and loved him as a son, as a father, as a friend, as a brother, as a husband. With all of his flaws and all of the terrible decisions and reactions that he had, we are asking this court to sentence him to a just sentence, imposing the court's hands are tied with the ultimate sentence of life without parole.
For the great loss, and for that, I'm terribly sorry. I wish this never happened. To Anna Marie's family, whom I still love and consider to be my family, there's so much I want to say. To Anna's mother, Amalia, and to Ron, you trusted me to protect your daughter, and I failed you. I wish there was something more I could offer besides an apology. I wish there was a way for me to fix this. I'm so truly sorry for what I've done to Anna, her parents, her siblings, aunts, and her uncles. I feel terrible. Anna was the most beautiful woman I've ever met, and I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. To love and cherish her, never to hurt her, to build her up, not to break her down. But I failed. I am thankful, however, that Anna and I were able to have a child, a granddaughter for both of our families to rejoice with. It is my belief that the love and spirit that Anna radiated will continue on through her. To Amira, my beloved daughter. Amira, when you're old enough to see this, please don't blame yourself. None of this is your fault. Your mom loved you so much, and I love you so much. You are the strongest girl I've ever known, and I'm so proud to be your father. I'm sorry for what my foolish actions have costed you, from what's been taken from you. I'm sorry that now you not only have to grow up without your mother, but now you have to grow up without your father too. I'm ashamed. But that is why I will strive each and every day to better myself, to seek rehabilitation, and to hopefully one day come back home to you. Because not being a part of your daily life tears me apart. To the Honorable Judge Frazier, I want to thank you for being extremely fair to me throughout this trial and for giving me the opportunity to defend myself. It is truly unfortunate that despite the compelling evidence that this was a crime of passion, somehow the jury still landed on this verdict, and they certainly wasted no time in doing so. The fact that I spent more time on the stand than the jury took to deliberate my fate is very concerning. In fact, the jury foreman himself told Fox 5 news reporters that a few of the jurors wanted to pick second degree, but were pressured not to by the rest of the jury. I think that speaks for itself, loud and clear, that reasonable doubt was intentionally overlooked, and that justice was not the motivating factor behind their decision. It was vengeance. And now I am left with no other option but to spend the rest of my life in prison, death by incarceration, a very slow and drawn-out death sentence. That means that 50 years from now, should I still be alive, I would still not be considered for release. I don't think that's fair at all. Especially after it has been made clear that drugs and alcohol were involved. And add that to along with infidelity and mental illness, and you've got a recipe for disaster. One that anyone could fall into. It's happened to me and I still can't believe it. Being sent to prison without the hope of ever getting out honestly feels like I'm being sent to hell. And that's terrifying. And I don't think that's right either. Personally, I believe everyone should have the ability to parole because everyone has the ability to change. But nonetheless, even still, it is my goal to serve my time with the utmost outstanding conduct and to participate in every rehabilitative program while being a positive role model to other prisoners. And I will do all this to the best of my ability with the goal of one day safely transitioning back into society. And finally, to everyone else, I extend my deepest apology from the bottom of my heart. I'm sorry. I wish you all peace, healing, love, and abundant joy in your future. I will continue to pray that I may earn your forgiveness. Thank you.
You still believe it's still crime and passion, huh? You still believe that?
All right. First, we'll take care of some preliminary matters. As a matter of law, the defendant is ineligible for probation. But if he was eligible for probation, this court would not give him probation. The court acknowledges its discretion and obligation at reviewing verdicts from when we get first-degree murders to see if it's second-degree or even voluntary manslaughter. And I will explain also, as the defense has asked, that I have the authority to strike or reduce the gun enhancements. I also have the authority to run the LWOP sentences consecutive or concurrent. And let me kind of briefly go through that and why I am giving the sentence that I am giving you. First of all, as to the first-degree murder, I look at various factors, having sat through the trial. And I do this in every murder trial. And I don't take this lightly. I truly respect jury verdicts. Have I reduced a first-degree murder to second-degree? I have. In fact, I did it 2 weeks ago. But I'm not doing it today. And I'll explain why it's not happening today. Very simple reason. The jury heard all of the evidence. The jury evaluated all of the evidence. The jury came back with a first-degree verdict, which was the correct verdict. It was a verdict that, when you look at the totality of all that happened during this particular crime, it's the only verdict a reasonable person could come up with. And considering all the evidence, and I'll just hit a few high points that I think, honestly, the jury was looking at. The defendant's text message to his cousin about killing. Defendant's controlling, demeaning behavior. When he said just a few minutes ago, he wants us to know who he is, that's who he is. It's very clear from the videos. His driving over to the apartment with a loaded gun. The fact that the victims were helpless, completely taken by surprise. The planning of a listening device. Firing within seconds of entering the apartment. Clearly showing an intent to kill, not heat of passion. Willful, deliberate, premeditated, cold-blooded murder. And something that is hard to explain, Ray was not involved in their problems at all. But he shot Ray first. Shot him in the head in an attempt to kill. You don't shoot people in the head unless you want to kill them. And in front of Anna. That was deliberate. He wanted her to see it. Very cruel. He took photos immediately afterwards. Who does that? He calls his mother. He had 3 days on the stand to explain his actions. He explained them. And the jurors came up again with the only reasonable verdict, which is a first-degree verdict. They also found, because there was 2 deaths, that this was multiple murder under Penal Code Section 190.2A3. The next thing this court has to consider is the gun enhancements. In the state of California, the legislature has, both slowly and quickly, changed certain enhancements. And the court is obligated to look at reducing certain enhancements, including those that require or have a 20-plus year addition to the sentence. And again, I look at both mitigating and aggravating factors. Of course, it goes without saying this crime involved great violence. It involved a firearm. It involved vulnerable victims who, again, had no time to react, no time to defend themselves. It involved planning. I don't think you could say it was sophistication or professionalism, but it certainly involved planning. When you load a gun arm yourself with a gun, drive 10 or 15 minutes to an apartment complex. As we saw on video, his demeanor going up the elevator, his demeanor going down the elevator, that showed planning. And obviously he took advantage of a position of trust. There's clearly that she didn't know he had a key, but he took advantage of that. Now, there are certain factors that, as for mitigating factors under the rules of court, I don't find any. Zero. None. There are certain factors with the defendant that I am obligated to take a look at. I acknowledge he has no prior record. I acknowledge the fact that at the time of this killing, he was suffering substance abuse and had some mental health issues. But I reject the fact that his childhood contributed to this at all. I hear terrible childhoods day in and day out. And his was not ideal, but it wasn't what we hear in this particular court. And I don't think that any of these crimes were connected, in fact, to his mental health or even his substance abuse. He was over 26. It did involve intimate partner violence, but he was the one that was committing the violence on her. And of course, he denied when confronted with it what happened initially. So the court is not going to strike or reduce the gun enhancements. The question then becomes one of whether or not these life without possibility of parole should be consecutive or concurrent. And that's a big deal. That will, in all likelihood, determine whether or not he dies in prison or out of prison, whether he dies a free man or one who's not. And this is the bottom line on this is I've watched him here during all of this time. He's a very talented actor. He is a very talented actor. When I saw the Scarface videos, it's as if when he committed these crimes, he became that persona of Scarface, of just the cold-blooded killing without remorse. Any tears that he's cried in this courtroom have been for himself. They are not for Ray and Anna. It's just, that's the reality. He fears the consequences, as he should, of his actions. But as he sits here today, I don't know if he's really sorry. I have serious reservations about it. I know he's sorry about the consequences of going to prison for the rest of his life. But I can't say that I think he's sorry for having killed these two innocent human beings. He's a very selfish person, as I think the jury saw. That was something that his character kind of came through, and we ask, who is Ali Abulaban? That's who he is. He's somebody that is only thinking about himself, and the idea of killing two innocent people doesn't disturb him. It's chilling. So the bottom line here is he will die in prison. He will never be a free man. He will take his last breath there. Please. In this matter, the defendant on count 1 will be sentenced to life without the possibility of probation via Penal Code Section 1190.2, Parent A, Parent 3. Consecutive to that will be 25 years to life on the gun enhancement under Penal Code Section 12022.53D. Consecutive to count 1 will be count 2, which will be life without the possibility of parole, Penal Code Section 190.2, Parent A 3. Consecutive to that will be the gun enhancement of 25 to life under Penal Code Section 12022.53D. Total prison term, 50 years to life plus LWOP, life without the possibility of parole. He's given the following custody credits of 1,552 days. He is given the following fines and fees.
Your Honor, probation has credits of 1,052 as of today.
Okay, 1,052. He will pay a restitution fine of $10,000 under Penal Code Section 1202.4B. Court security fee of $80 under Penal Code Section 1465.8. Criminal conviction fee of $60. The general order of restitution. Restitution at today's time will be set at for the funeral expenses of $12,890. And what was your other restitution amounts?
Just so the record is clear, that $12,890 is to the Victim Compensation Board.
Correct.
The amount to Amalia Miller is $3,324.24.
We can cancel that, Mr. Black.
Okay. I can't. Please don't interrupt. Go ahead.
And the amount to Perme Sarton is $1,214.66.
All right. Those amounts will be also ordered. All right. Thank you all.
Your Honor, may I just want to make one clarification. When the court announced the sentence, 50 to life plus LWOP, is that plus 2 terms of LWOP, one for each?
As I indicated, the counts 1 and 2 on LWOP under the special circumstance has alleged and pled and proven under Penal Code Section 190.2 parent A are consecutive to each other. So that's 2 consecutive LWOP terms plus on each count 25 to life, totaling 50 to life plus LWOP. So yes, they are consecutive to each other.
Thank you.
Charles?
Is it because it's LWOP, there's not a second $10,000? Is that-
Yeah, we'll just do it once.
Okay.
All right, we'll be in recess.
Folks,